and have plenty of time to work on your assignment. I'm actually going to be recording this lesson so that it'll be ready to post in the interactive notebook if you need to refer back to it later. So I want to start with Mr. Slope Guy. If you can, just sketch him really quickly. He is a pretty good resource when it comes to the, yes. Thank you, Emma. He's a pretty good resource for the graphs of slope. So go ahead and just sketch him really quickly. I'll give you a minute or two to do that. I appreciate y'all telling me I'm on mute. I always forget to unmute, always. And I think all teachers do that, right? At some point. Yes, yeah, I think I might be the worst. Who else? Coach Pick does it? He did. Well, I forget that I mute at the end of classes just because I leave it open, but I mute it so that you can't hear me typing and, drinking or whatever. Anyway. All right. So I'm going to talk about Mr. Slope Guy while you're drawing him. So his eyes are the positive and negative slope. So like his eyebrows represent the two slopes, just to give you an idea. So when you look at a graph, if the line is increasing or it's a positive slope, it's going up from left to right, and negative would be going down from left to right. Those two are pretty common, so those you might be familiar with, but the ones that help the most are his nose and mouth. His nose is a vertical line with a U underneath to make the nose. The U is for undefined. If I can write undefined. That's the important piece. And I'm not going to lie, this is how I remember the two. His nose makes the U at the bottom, so that's undefined. While the O's are the, when you draw like a face and you draw a circle to show like the blushing cheeks kind of thing. You draw a circle. So this would be 0. Whoops. And it's because of the two circles on the end. So a horizontal line would be 0 slope, while a vertical line would be undefined. It may or may not help you remember, but I feel like any tool that we can use to help us is a good thing. All right. So let's look at this first one. It says y equals 5. Remember, when we're looking at slope-intercept, we have y equals mx plus b. M is our slope. If you notice, we don't even have an x in this case. So what I'm actually going to do is show you on Desmos what this looks like. This would be a 0 slope. So anything with y equals is a 0 slope. And just to kind of give you another idea, if you are thinking of like a graph, right? This is our x-axis, this is our y-axis. And that means this is the spot where that line crosses, and it's the only spot it crosses an axis where y is 5. It's y equals 5 all the way across. So there's a bunch of different ways to recognize the different slopes here. Okay. All right. Whoops, too far. So I'm going to go to Desmos. It has to load. And of course, you can do the same thing. When you go to Desmos, you can graph. What was it, 5, right? And if you notice, it tells you the color on the left-hand side of the line. So if you have more than one line, it tells you it's red. And so the line is actually located here. Sorry, I just made the mess of it. Which is a horizontal line. And if you remember, horizontal line, I just showed you with Mr. Slope Guy, means what? 0. That's right. Back to, or go to our next one. Here's a graph. We'll go ahead and, you don't have to draw this. I'm just going to model for you how to do this because drawing it would be too tedious. So we're going to do rise over run, which is still, whoops, change in y over change in x, because remember your y-axis is the rise while your x-axis is the run. So I'm going to basically be making a triangle to show that rise and run. So my rise is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units, while the run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Now, of course, I can simplify, and when I do simplify, I end up with 4/3 as a slope. Always simplify to it. If it's improper, that's fine, but don't go to decimals. Don't do any of that. You can leave it as an improper fraction. It's totally cool. Questions so far? All right, now the next is important. This is going to be a big deal. Right now, this equation is actually written in what we call standard form, but we need it in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Does that equation look the same? It does? No, it doesn't. Guys, we need to get the y by itself in order to look like this. If you recall those little equations that we did a few weeks back, yes? We have to manipulate this equation to get it to look like slope-intercept. So I'm gonna model this for you. Go ahead and write that equation down if you haven't yet, because you will want this as an example. So we're gonna get it into slope-intercept form. Scout, I feel like that mask is like very uncomfortable for you.
Yes, it is.
You wore it the other day and we're having the same problem, huh?
I can't find out one.
You can't find your other one?
Yes, ma'am.
I would rather you stop messing with it, because... Would you like one of these? In a minute, after the lesson, I'll send you to the restroom. You can change it there, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 6x on both sides. So we have 8y. Y. Is this doing this to me? It's because it's y. Y equals negative 6x plus 16. Yes? All right, now we still have to get y by itself, so we're going to divide everything by 8. So once I simplify, y equals negative 3/4 x plus 2. It's okay. So in this case, our slope is right here as the coefficient of x. Y equals negative 3/4 x plus 2. So our slope is negative 3/4.
Someone said that you were on.
I'm not.
That's what someone said in the chat.
Oh, that was from earlier
Oh.
when I was on mute. It says 11:17. We're already at 11:26. So we're good. Thank you. All right, hello. Negative 3/4 is our slope. And just to show you, graph it in Desmos again. Oops, let's see, it's gonna load. The equation is, what was it again?
It is 6x plus 8y equals 16.
Okay, plus 8y equals, I've done this a few times today. You'd think I'd have it memorized, right? There's our line. So we go and find our slope. So here is our 2 points. Our slope will be 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's the 3 and the 4 as our rise and run. Like, okay, what in the world just happened, y'all? This is nutso. 3/4, there it is. So it's 3/4, but look at that line. It's decreasing, like the eyebrows, remember? So negative 3/4. Got it? So there, as you can see here, there's a bunch of different ways you can go about doing this. It's up to you what works best for you. All right, next one. I would like for y'all to try this one on your own, please. Questions about this one? All right, next one. I do want you to try this one again on your own. Remember, you can use Desmos and graph it, or isolate Y, whichever works best for you. All right, questions?